What is going on, everyone? We are back in NBA 2K17, and today we are going to rebuild the 76ers. But we're going to do it a little bit differently. I see a lot of people doing rebuilding series, or they rebuild this team, rebuild that team, but it's not really realistic. You see them trade in half the team. You see them trading for Kevin Durant and all these big-time players. That's not realistic. Today, we are going to do it realistic. We're going to rebuild the 76ers, and I can tell you right now, I'm going to rebuild them in one trade. So first, let's take a look at the roster. And I'll tell you right away, point guard and shooting guard are the weakest positions on this team. Jared Bayless is going to be the point guard. He is okay in that he has an A+ three-point shooting, so that is going to come in handy. But shooting guard, we have no one. Stauskas is the best shooting guard, and he's only a 69 overall. Then we get to Ben Simmons, the #1 pick, small forward, 80 overall. He is going to be the starting small forward. Then you got Robert Covington behind him, Gerald Henderson, Jeremy Grant, a nice defender. At power forward, we have Dario Saric, the rookie power forward, has some abilities from the outside, a little bit of a stretch for 75 overall. He'll be coming off the bench. Then we have the big men at center, the three guys, Okafor, Embiid, Noel. How successful can the 76ers be with those three centers? We're going to find out. Now, as far as this goes, for this episode or any other rebuilds I do, I'm going to kind of set some ground rules in place. As far as trades go, one major trade a season. It's not realistic to see 2 or 3 big trades on a team within one season. And then I'm going to put a time limit on it. For the 76ers, I'm going to say conservatively we have 3 years to rebuild them. And now, in terms of saying rebuild, I don't necessarily mean winning them a championship. I think the 76ers being rebuilt would be making the playoffs and maybe making a little bit of a run in the playoffs. It'd be different for any team, but realistically for this one, I'm going to say 2 seasons. We have 2 seasons to get the Sixers to the playoffs and at least make it through the first round. So that's what we're going to go with. Now, the last thing to look at is the 76ers draft picks because they have a lot of them. We have 2 in 2017, ours and the Lakers. We have our pick in 2018, and then we have 2 in 2019, our pick and the Kings pick. So we have some first rounders to deal with. I'm not just going to stack some first rounders, but those are probably going to come into play when we do make a trade. Now, the first thing I am going to do for this, it's no trade, it's a signing. Lance Stephenson, to me, sitting out here in the free agency pool, is the perfect shooting guard for us to sign to bring onto this team to fill a huge hole we have in terms of defense and that shooting guard spot. So I'm going to release a player. We're going to sign Lance Stephenson. We're just going to give him what he wants, $2.44 million, very cheap. The 76ers nicely have a ton of cap room. So Stephenson will be the shooting guard. This is what the rest of the lineup looks like. Bayless will be at point, Simmons at small forward, Okafor at power forward, Embiid at center, Noel, Covington, Rodriguez off the bench, a few other guys getting some minutes, and that's all we're going to do. I'm going to start simulating here. We're going to see how we do the first month. Maybe we get a little lucky and they just go on a nice hot streak. Everybody gels, but it looks like it's a little bit iffy here. We're 4-4 as we have some injuries cropping up. Nothing major so far as Covington going to go down with 1 to 2 weeks with a twisted right knee as we're kind of losing. We're sitting at 9th, 8th in the conference now on a bit of a losing streak, but we do come back here. Covington is back as we're 7-7. We're going to simulate through the first month of the season. So we're still hanging around 500, 8th in the conference, and here's the first major injury as Saric is out with a severe left ankle sprain, 6 to 8 weeks. That is going to hurt the bench. And it looks like we're going to run off a couple losses in a row. So we're 9-10 here after the first month of the season. Let's see how everybody's doing. Saric was doing well, 13 points, but Okafor 19-7. Stevenson, we got a bunch of guys averaging over 10. Nothing too crazy, but look at Nerlens Noel, 5.5 and just 6 rebounds. So at this point, I think we're going to make a trade here. And Nerlens Noel, I think, is going to be the big man that loses out. I like Embiid just a little bit more. So I'm going to throw some offers or see what the offers are for Noel. And it's looking like there's nothing really too good. We're getting back a lot of centers. We don't need a center. We're looking for a point guard. Honestly, we're looking for a point guard. If we could upgrade shooting guard even more, we will do that. But really, I would like to get a point guard. So I'm going to add our first round pick this year, and I'm going to make it top 3 protected just in case things go really bad. We can at least get it back if we get a top 3 pick. So this is going to improve the offers a little bit more. Kevin Love, that'd be nice. Schroeder and Howard, that's not actually too bad of an offer. Justice Winslow, no way are the Miami Heat going to trade Justice Winslow and Hassan Whiteside. That's a crazy trade. But this one right here, Kemba Walker and a first round pick. So we would get back a top 3 protected pick next year and only have to give up our first round pick this year and Nerlens Noel. So that one, that might be the trade. Is Harrison Barnes going to go up? We don't want Harrison Barnes. We do not need Harrison Barnes, another center. Jeff Teague, Al Jefferson, that is not a good enough pick. Stanley Johnson. I'm not really seeing any other point guards, so I think there's Chris Dunn. but I like Kemba Walker better. So here we go. This is the trade we're going to make for this year. We only get to make one major trade, so this is going to be the trade we make. Kemba Walker for Nerlens Noel, and we swap first rounders. And honestly, our pick this year, making this trade, we're going to end up, I hope, be close to the playoffs. So it's really not worth as much as the Hornets probably think it is. So this is what the lineup is going to look like. Now, Kemba Walker slides into point. Bayless moves to the bench. And now we go back to simulating. I'm going to sim to the All-Star break. So let's see what this team can do as we start out with a couple of wins, then we lose a couple in a row. McConnell going to go down to a broken right ankle. He's out 2 to 4 months. That is not good, although we do have some nice depth, although not anymore, as Bayless is going to go down. It looks like he's going to be able to play through it, but point guard depth is not great right now, and it's showing as we've lost 5 in a row. 6 in a row. This is not what I wanted to see, as things looking like maybe this year isn't going to be it for us to make the playoffs. I would be incredibly surprised if we make the playoffs in the first season, as we do get a win there. Jeremy Lin, no one wants to trade for Jeremy Lin. Jared Bayless is back, so let's see what he can do now, coming back off the bench as we get more crazy trade offers. Some of the trade offers that the CPU team send are just crazy, but we do get a win here as we get more trade offers, and it's another win as we get more trade offers. We're now 17-21. We're still only 9th in the conference, so we're sitting up pretty okay considering what we've gone through here these first couple weeks, as Jahlil Okafor going to go down with an injury. That is not what we want to see. Saric is back, though, so that is perfectly timed as the big man able to step in nicely at power forward, as we're 20-23 here heading in through the end of January, as we're just kind of going back and forth, winning, losing. We need to pick up some string of wins here, as we're kind of dropping a little bit in the conference, now 10th and 4th in the division, as we beat the Spurs. That's a surprise win there as we move through it into February. Now there's a win, although we lose to the Pistons, playing the Spurs again, and we're going to beat the Spurs again. So we have the Spurs number, it looks like, but Jahlil Okafor is back, as we're going to lose just a couple of games before the All-Star break, as we're 10th in the conference, and it is not looking good for us to reach our goal here in this first season. We're going to have an amazing second half if we are going to make it to the playoffs, as we will win the last game before the All-Star break. And now we will stop here and just take a look at things. You can see we're actually not too far away. You can see actually the Hawks are 33-23. That's not too far away, so we could get as high as 4th. Luckily, the Eastern Conference not doing so hot this year. So that is enough motivation here for us to have a big second half, as Embiid is going to have a day-to-day injury, nothing serious. But we've run off a couple wins here. We do lose to the Warriors, but then we go back to winning, as Embiid is going to be back. We're 30-31, 30-32. We're sitting at 9th in the conference, so we're still hanging around there, but that's now 3 losses in a row. Another injury to Rodriguez, another point guard injury. And now the loss is coming, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, make it stop, and we do against the Warriors, big win there, but now we got to have a huge final month of the season, as Kemba Walker getting hurt now 1 to 2 weeks. That is not an injury that we can afford, so let's see if they can step up in his place, and they do. 4 wins in a row, 5 wins in a row. Look at the chemistry, up to 91, 92%. We do lose 2 in a row, though. Kemba Walker is back, as now we go back, and we go back to winning. If we lose to the Cavaliers, that's going to be a tough one to win. But now I'm going to stop it here. We have 6 games remaining. We are in 9th, and we are just 2 games behind the Milwaukee Bucks. We can't pass the Hawks. They've won their division actually at 38-38. So let's see as we win. It's going to be an injury day-to-day. Okay, win, and win. We win the last 6 games of the regular season, and we end up 6th in the conference. You gotta be kidding me. What a clutch performance to end the season, as Russell Westbrook is gonna win MVP. Ben Simmons, 76ers, gonna win Rookie of the Year, 12, 8, and 5, and 1.5 steals. Nice season from him. Brandon Knight, 6th Man of the Year. DeAndre Jordan, Defensive Player of the Year. Reggie Jackson, Most Improved. But what a season from the Philadelphia 76ers, and all it took was one trade to get them to the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, I know the Eastern Conference is a little bit of the easier conference. You see Simmons and Embiid earning first team all-rookie. Saric going to earn second team, but still, the 76ers in the playoffs, that is quite the feat. So I'm feeling pretty good here, but let's see how we do here in the first round. We're going to be taking on the Bulls, 3-6 matchup, as we will take game 1 on the road. The Bulls, though, will respond and take game 2. So moving out game 3, the Bulls will take it. Game 4, we got to win this one here, and we will. So 2-2 is the series. This is a pivotal game here in game 5. The Bulls are going to take it, so we are 1 game away from elimination. Let's watch the Simcast here, and it looks like the Bulls are going to take it. I'm not going to intervene at all. The 76ers are going to be eliminated, so we get bounced in the first round. Now, I'm going to say we've been successful here. We have got the 76ers to the playoffs in one season, but let's take it one more year. Let's see if we can get them a little bit deeper, build this team a little bit more, go through one offseason, and we'll go through one more season and see how we can end this as the Celtics beat the Bulls. The Bulls beat the Cavs. What a weird playoffs for the Eastern Conference, but it's going to be the Warriors, not surprisingly, winning the NBA Finals. So here we go, on to the offseason. First up, we got to find out if we get a first-round pick. We are going to have the Lakers pick unless they pick in the top 3. So fingers crossed they shouldn't pick in the top 3, but let's see what happens. And you got to be kidding me. The Lakers, with 8%, get the first pick. Yet again, the NBA lottery is rigged. Absolutely rigged, no doubt. Lakers, Pacers, Heat, but we don't have a pick, so we're just going to completely ignore the draft this offseason. Now on to free agency, and look at the names we have. Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Griffin, Lowry, Gordon Hayward. I'm going through here just to see if any guys have a second position as shooting guard, because shooting guard is the position that we need to fill here in the offseason. So as we look at the shooting guards, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is the best one available. JJ Redick is there. He is a shooter, but Caldwell-Pope is an interesting option because he can score a little bit, but he's a very, very good defender. So he's kind of like a Lance Stevenson, just a little bit better scorer. So I'm actually going to negotiate a contract with him. He wants $19.6 million a year. That is a lot of money for 3 years, but in comparison, we look here as I was tempted by Blake Griffin. Ultimately, I'm not going to offer him a contract because it doesn't really make sense with the big men that we have. But what I'm going to end up doing here is I don't really see any better option for shooting guard than Caldwell-Pope. I'm going to offer him the 3 years at 19.68 that he wants. We'll see if he takes that. And then just looking through a couple other players just to kind of see what they want. As we see Blake Griffin here, he wants 26.6 over 4 years. That is a huge contract. In the 76ers, you can't just throw a bunch of money at guys because they have some really, really good players on the team. You see Kevin Durant wants $31 million a year. Gordon Hayward wants 26. But we have to have the money to be able to extend Ben Simmons, to be able to extend Embiid, Okafor, so we can't just throw a lot of money around. So the final move I'm going to make is Doug McDermott. I want to get another shooter on this bench. So he wants just 2.62 for 2 years. Very, very cheap for a guy that has some pretty good shooting ability, a little bit better than JJ Redick, who wanted, I think, $12 million for a season. So a little bit better option there. And then one more move, actually, I forgot. We're going to need another center. Boban Marjanovic, I think is how you say his name, only wants 1.16. This dude is a very, very good rebounder, 7'3". So that is our offseason. Now taking a look at player progression, and you see some improvements here. Kemba Walker's 3 points improved. Ben Simmons, a lot of things improving there. Okafor getting better inside. We've got Covington getting better, some bench players getting better, some nice improvements across the board, but kind of looks like he's the only guy that's going to drop anything. And then this is the lineup we're going with: Kemba Walker, Caldwell-Pope, Simmons, Okafor, Embiid, Saric coming off the bench, Covington coming off the bench, and we'll see now how this team is going to do. I'm not going to make any more moves, no more trades. I actually disabled the CPU trade offers just so I didn't have to look at it and see those popping up all the time. But here is some early season woes as Simmons goes down with a broken right wrist. That is not what we want to see, but still, we're doing pretty good here. 6-2, 7-2. We are breaking off these wins as we lose to the Bulls there, but still doing very, very good. And this is not a team. We only made one move. We brought in Kemba Walker. We brought in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a couple role players. That's all you need to do with the 76ers team. They have the talent. You don't got to redo the whole roster. As I say that, we start losing more games. Ben Simmons is going to be back. Actually, he's still day-to-day, but he'll be back soon. Fully healed now, so only going to miss a couple weeks, but in that time, we still hold it. We're third in the conference, as I'm simulating here right to the All-Star break, so we're going to go all the way through to February, as we'll see if we can continue to roll through these wins. You see the chemistry up there at 94, the fan interest back in Philly, 99, was 99, very high 99. It's going down a little bit as we lose some games, but still we are 22-12 here. Fourth in the conference, we've taken a bit of a dip, and look at this. Caldwell-Pope, the injuries happening a lot here in my league as he's going to be out for about a month. So hopefully some other guys can step up. That's a position, though, where we really can't afford injuries because we really don't have another shooting guard to step in. I'm not sure if Doug McDermott probably stepped in to start at shooting guard or who would have gone in there. I kind of let the CPU just handle the injuries here in the second season. We're just going to try and see, not really messing with anything, just to see how the 76ers do here in the second year. As this second month not going so hot, we're 29-18. We're fourth in the conference. We are first in our division, which is good to see, as now we're going to start rolling off some wins, 5-6 in a row. I think we have about a week left until the All-Star break. We'll see if we can end this on a high note, maybe another week after that. As look at this, we have now won 8 in a row. We're back up to third in the conference. As I say that, we lose a game, But we are going to go through this final week. Here we go. Now the last week, and Simmons hurt again. Severe ankle sprain, out 6 to 8 weeks. And then, well, nicely timed. Again, we have some nice timings, at least on our injuries, as Caldwell Pope is going to be back. Final game before the All-Star break. We're going to lose, but 37-20. Let's take a stop here and look at the standings. So Pacers, Cavaliers, the only teams behind us, and we're only 4 games back. We're 2 games ahead of the Bulls, so we are sitting very, very nicely as we now simulate through the remainder of this season. As sure bet here, unless we have a complete and total collapse, we are making the playoffs once again. So I'm going to say, if it wasn't already rebuilt after year 1, we definitely have rebuilt the 76ers as it stands. Now I'm thinking, can we go from 76ers horrible to first in the Eastern Conference? I don't know if we can do that well, but we're looking pretty good here. As we take down the Cavaliers, that's a big win. Saric is going to go down, day-to-day injury, nothing bad. As look at this, we are first in the conference, and then we lose, and we go back down to second. Kemba Walker is going to be hurt, and Kemba Walker back next day. And with that win, we have won 50 games. Winner, the 76ers, is going to be able to say they can win 50 games. Unbelievable. As Ben Simmons is back, we're first in the conference. Just a few weeks left here, as it's going to be winning. Oh, geez, Kemba Walker out for the season. And this right here, I'm going to say, is the turning point of the season, as he's going to go down. We're not going to be able to make a deep run without him. We do not have the point guard behind him to step up. We lose the last 2 games of the season. We end up second in the conference, so we just miss out on getting first in the East. LeBron James is your MVP. Jason Tatum is going to be your Rookie of the Year. Cameron Payne, 6th Man of the Year. LeBron, Defensive Player of the Year, and Kemba Walker, Most Improved. Unfortunately, he gets the injury. 22, 4, and 8, and 2 steals per game. Impressive season from Kemba Walker. We're not going to have anybody on the All-NBA list or the All-Rookie list, or we didn't have a rookie, but nobody on any of these lists, no defensive players. So we're going to move on now to the playoffs, and we're going to take on the 7th seed Heat. Can we make it through the first round? Easily. We sweep the Heat. So there is your at least semi-deep run of the playoffs. But let's see if we can make it one more. Let's try and beat the Pacers. They were first in the East at the All-Star break. We lose the first 2 games. We win the next one. We lose Game 5. So Game 6, we've got to win it. And we do. So here we go. Game 7. And this one, I did want to stop and jump into it, but I stopped it way too late. So we're going to jump in with 17 seconds left. It's a 3-point game. We've got to foul Paul George. And if he makes these 2, it's pretty much over. Sorry I didn't stop it quicker. It would have been cool to try and get that win and move on. But still, I'm going to call it success, as here, ignore what's about to happen. I didn't notice we didn't have a timeout, so we got a technical foul for calling a timeout we didn't have. So this one is going to end. We will manage to get some points from Caldwell Pope. So we see the 76ers team a little bit, but I'm still happy. Minimal roster moves had to be made. We get them back to the playoffs in Season 1. The following season, we get them to second in the Eastern Conference. It does not take a lot to rebuild these teams. The Sixers, surprisingly though, have a lot of talent on their roster, more than a lot of people probably give them credit for, but still, you gotta make the right moves. We made the right move here. Kemba Walker turned out to be all the difference for this team to get back to the playoffs, add a little bit better shooting guard, and it gets them up into that top tier of the Eastern Conference. So we're going to get bounced here, and that will be the end of the video. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more of these, let me know in the comments down below and give this video a like. Also, subscribe if you want to see more of these or any other videos I make. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.